I wanted to show this kit to you. This is back on the Cessna 140 I've been working on. This is a Cowl fastening kit, an STC. Let's see. I forget the company's name. I got the STC paperwork up there at my office. Long and short of it, this is the kit. It replaces these over center latches that were pretty problematic to the Cessnas, or the early Cessnas, the 140s and 170s, I guess. Should have showed you from the beginning, but this kit was pretty straightforward. I have this one just clecoed in place. Simply just a cam lock, quarter turn fastener. That's what it reverts it to. I have the aircraft that's pretty dirty, as you can see, and I got my towel up here. I don't want to slide it around and scratch the paint. So once I get done, I'm not going to wipe this or anything. I might blow off some of the metal cuttings, but for the most part, I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm going to take it outside and wash it when I'm done, so I don't want to wipe or blow or anything to scratch the paint. Now I'll show you what I've done here on these pieces. Again, it's very straightforward. This is the piece that was up behind here. Very carefully took a razor, an X-Acto knife, just like this one here, and very carefully traced around my rivet heads so that I wouldn't peel out the paint. Proper technique, drilling out the rivet heads, you know, drill through it, knock them out the backside and chisel the head off. I like this combination. I got another video drilling out rivets. I'm not going to go into detail with it, but once you drill through the head, I like to use a small mandrel like that with a little backing bar to back it up, pop out the body of the rivet. Before I do that, if I need to give it a little bit of finesse, I'll take this. This is a keyway chisel I modified. I really like the way it works, but I can take it alongside of the rivet and pop the head off after I drill through the hole. So these are my two tools of choice. There's half dozen different ways to do it. As long as you don't enlarge the hole in the base material, there's several ways you can do it. And you can see this one here, the rivet stayed, the body of the rivet stayed in this back plate. It's fine, I'm gonna get rivet. So drilled that back plate out, push that up into the pile, pull the scrap out and scrap aluminum. This piece here is not fitted to this back plate when you get it. Let me disassemble that right quick. So this is what this piece looks like when you, I guess I'm out of view a little bit. Let me check. No, that's pretty good. So what I like to do for my edge distance, I'll take this piece here, and you see I marked it in 3 locations. Basically, it's pretty simple. I'll just take my finger as a guide, and I'll mark it as needed. So I'll go around there and mark it 3 places. I'm gonna drill it here, here, and here. 2 here, 2 here, and 1 here. So I marked it in those 3 locations so that I'd be able to see my line. So before I drilled these holes, I made 2 little pencil marks here in the paint. I pushed this down nice and tight to where the paint lines line up, and I put a reference mark here where this ledge was. And there's a reinforcement strip back here. So this reinforcement, the ledge, is what I marked on here when everything's lined up. So what that does for me is when I put this up into place, I can slide it around and make sure I see my Sharpie marks through these holes. So I'll start with this top one, slide it up till the Sharpie marks in there, and then I can take these 2 pencil lines and square it up. Now I can do any number of things at this point. I can use these clamps, I can use a C-clamp, I got a pair of clamping pliers, I can use a multitude of clamping devices to hold this right where I want it and square it up. So that's going to be step one. Mark the edges so you have enough edge distance to your holes. Square it up, and once you square it up, drill one. I like to start with the top one. Drill it. Put your Cleco in there, and then double check your lines down here and make sure this ledge is nice and square. So when it closes, it's going to be nice and pretty straight. You don't want lines going like that. Now this is not real critical to do this step here, but it is critical for the cosmetics because it'll look pretty chintzy if you just scab it together. But structurally, if it's a little bit crooked, it won't hurt nothing. So you drilled those one at a time, got it in place. Now this is fitted. Same thing with this panel here. Fairly easy, fairly straightforward. This is the old well that was down inside here. Okay, so same technique. Drill through the heads of the rivets only. Use a little chisel, pop off the heads, and use a mandrel on a backing bar to drive out the body of the rivet. Now you have nice holes that are not overly enlarged. In other words, they don't look like little snowmen or anything. Nice round holes for alignment. Same thing with this piece here. I was able to see the edge on this one, but I didn't do it. But if you was concerned about it, not enough edge distance, you'd want to mark your edge like that. Something like that. And come down here and mark that edge. Now there's a combination of things you want to do here. When you slide this down in, you want it to be nice and flush on this reinforcement. Then you slide it forward and aft to make sure that you can see your Sharpie marks through your holes. If you can see your Sharpie marks through your holes, then you have enough edge distance. If I want to use a helping hand, I can use one of these Cleco clamps. Put that up there, another one here, so on and so forth, and drill it. And when I drill one at a time, so I'd come down here, I'd drill this one, and I put a Cleco in it. I drill this one, drill this one. It may be overkill to put Clecos in every hole as you drill it, but all you have to do is ruin a piece once because it moved on you, and you realize the importance of it. And drill this and drill this. And usually when I get to about here and I drill this and I drill this, I'll just start playing leapfrog. And go like that. Drill that one and drill that one. Then you can go up here like that if you wanted to. I'm just going to get rid of these all together because I don't need them. Take a clamp. Okay. The next stage, the way that I did it, and Lorraine even has a video on how to do it, and I misplaced it. I didn't watch the video. I don't know what I did with it, but it don't matter. It's basic techniques, sheet metal techniques. So what you can do here is I can go ahead and fasten that quarter turn fastener. Now I can get my cowling in position exactly where I want it. Lining the paint lines up and everything else right where I had it together the first time initially when I painted the aircraft. And with everything held in position, if you get an extra set of hands, this will help. I didn't have an extra set of hands. I just kind of got everything into position like this. Grabbed my drill, drilled one of them. Clecoed it together, then drilled the other two. And pretty much that's it, you're done. Now what I had to do on this one and on the other side is that this recess in this Cessna was a little bit smaller than these straps. So I'm going to take this back apart so I can show you. carefully had to cut down the strap a little bit, being careful not to exceed my edge distance on these rivets. This one here had plenty of meat going up there, so I wasn't worried about that, but had to smooth it in and blend it in a little bit. Now the next step is really simple. You get a couple rivets in the squeezer. Okay, I've been taking these back to the bench and squeezing these rivets back here at the bench, but so I don't have to reset the camera up. I just bring it up to the camera. These are just standard AN 470 AD rivets. These are number 3s. They're probably about a -3 in length, guessing. Normally I take this plate, I deburr these edges, and get it ready to fit back together, which I've already done that. So for this demonstration here, I can go ahead and rivet these together. Make sure that the cam lock fastener is going the right way. I'll line that up, and I'm just going to stick a Cleco in there. Now, I guess you can see this. I got the die for a 470, a number 3 470, and then for the shop head, it's just a flush set. Now this situation here, it's not super technical, super crazy with jigs or anything stupid like that. All you have to do is just stick a couple of these rivets. The holes are brand new holes, are not oversized or anything. These are standard size rivets. So if you have the Cleco in one hole and the rivet in the other 2 hole, this strap is right where you drilled it to. It's not going anywhere. So I'll kind of hold that one with my thumb, get my tool ready. And I'm holding the one with my thumb right underneath this index finger, then the tool's on the other one. Okay. I don't think I can squeeze this in view of the camera. I'll try. Nope. That one's squoozed up. I'm gonna jump to the next one. Get rid of my Cleco. Final rivet. All right, and I know from experience this is the right length. There is rivet gauges out there. It basically is 1.5 times the diameter, sticking up before you squeeze it, but it's going to be pretty good. It's a little bit on the long side, but because I got brand new holes, it's going to squeeze up just fine. So you saw me adjusting the tool a minute ago. These aren't, the shop heads aren't quite squeezed up enough, so I'm going to give this maybe about a half turn more. See what that looks like. All right, I like the way those shop heads look. Really nice shop heads. I can get the tool out and check the size, see if they need to be squeezed a little bit more, but they look pretty good. And there you have it. It's pretty much done. What I'll do now, let me Cleco this back in place. Okay. That's about where I want it. Now what I have is a clearance bit for a number 6 screw. Being very careful. You saw it springing away a little bit. I could have moved the Clecos up to here to help, but That's a clearance hole for a number 6. It's not as tight of a fitting hole as it would be for a rivet. You got a nut, the washer, and a screw. You got the washer on. I got the nut sitting there. I'm gonna use my Phillips. All right, we're nice and started right where we want it. Now, I'm kind of taking my time, being careful, because I don't want to scratch this paint. Even though it's dirty, it's going to make it even more prone to scratching, I believe. And when I get this screw about snug, I'm going to use the wrench on the backside, tighten it the rest of the way, because I don't want to risk tearing this fresh paint. And for some reason, I always like to make the Phillips look like an X instead of a plus, so I'll hold it in position while I tighten it with the wrench. Completely unnecessary, it's just one thing I like to do. Now the rest of the fasteners, as you can see, you just go around all of them doing just what I did there. It's a pretty simple, straightforward process. I'll drill both of these. Now, I'm really impressed with this kit. It's a very simple kit. But man, is it a fantastic upgrade to the old over center latches that were on there. So anybody having problems with their old Cessna latches, certainly give this a look. I'm not endorsing any products, but when something works good, it works good. All right, let's grab myself 2 nuts, 2 washers, and 2 screws. That one started. Let's stick that one in there. All right, that one started. These fasteners here are up behind. Let me show you. Up behind this support. So it is doable. You can fish it in there. That's all there is to it. I was going to paint these, but with the stainless steel hardware, I decided to go ahead and polish this. And I actually like the way that it looks better polished than matching the rest of the attachment hardware versus painted. So I decided just to go ahead and polish the aluminum and use the stainless hardware, and I really like the way it looks.